This extended video guide explores how to transform business dashboards into robust decision-making engines by applying Herbert Simon's classic intelligence design choice model. We walk through each stage of the model using a realistic business example, bringing theory and practice together to demonstrate how business intelligence BI evolves from passive reporting into a proactive system of strategic guidance. Through comprehensive explanations, layered visual design, and analytical scenarios, this video aims to illustrate how dashboards can truly support insight, confidence, and ultimately informed action. We live in a world of dashboards. From marketing to operations, finance to HR, dashboards are everywhere. Visualizing numbers, tracking KPIs, and generating performance snapshots. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A dashboard is only as valuable as the decisions it empowers. Too often, dashboards focus on aesthetics over impact. They display impressive charts and clever filters, but leave users asking, so what? A good dashboard doesn't just present data. It frames understanding, provokes questions, and pushes the user closer to a decision. In this video, I want to explore what happens when we treat a dashboard not as a report, but as a cognitive tool, something that supports human judgment. To do that, we'll use Herbert Simon's decision-making framework: intelligence, design, and choice. Simon's model was built for organizational complexity. It tells us that decision-making happens in 3 structured stages: recognizing the problem, designing the alternatives, and making a choice. Dashboards built around this model don't just show what's going on, they actively help people understand what to do about it. A decision is a commitment to action. Data without action is noise. From Herbert Simon. The first phase of Simon's model is intelligence. That doesn't mean technical skill or knowledge. It means identifying and structuring the real problem. Let's look at a practical scenario. A mid-sized e-commerce company was frustrated with underwhelming advertising results. They had plenty of data: monthly sales, ad spending across platforms, click-through rates, stock levels. But the executive team still couldn't explain the poor returns. A junior analyst might immediately pull up a bar chart of CTR per platform, but a strategic analyst will ask deeper, better framed questions. Are we over-allocating budget to low-performing platforms? Are some campaigns cannibalizing others? Which investments bring long-term customer value, not just short-term clicks? This framing is the true beginning of any analytical process. And it's during this phase that data needs to be transformed. We clean it, remove outliers, and engineer new variables to give us a clearer view. One example we used was adjusted ROI, a metric we calculated by blending net profit with spend and weighting it by platform exposure. This allowed us to see more than just return. It showed where the return was coming from and how it could be improved. Once we understand the problem, we move to the design phase. This is where we start building dashboards, models, metrics, and narratives. Design is not just about making charts. It's about ensuring that every data point shown has a purpose. We ask, who's the decision maker? What choices are they facing? What level of context do they need? In our case, we used a 3-tier KPI framework to guide the dashboard's logic. Descriptive KPIs: what happened? Impressions: CTR. Diagnostic: KPIs: why did it happen? Cost per acquisition: session drop-off. Predictive KPIs: what's likely to happen next? Projected revenue: sales lag. This structure helped us build narrative depth. Executives could quickly check forecasts while operational teams could explore root causes. We also used custom filters to tailor views by user level. Crucially, we embedded simulation tools. Instead of just showing what happened, we allowed users to test scenarios. For example, if ad spend is cut by 10% on platform A and moved to platform B, how would total conversion and inventory movement respond? These simulations turned the dashboard into a decision lab. As Akoff said, the more irrelevant information you provide to a decision maker, the less likely they are to make a good decision. Dashboard design is about precision, not we've clarified the problem. We've designed the structure. Now we arrive at the core purpose of any analytical journey: choice. Dashboards rarely make choices, but they should support them. In this phase, the focus shifts to evaluating options, predicting outcomes, and measuring trade-offs. Let's return to our scenario. We used the dashboard to simulate what would happen if 20% of the ad budget from Google was reallocated to TikTok. The result? A projected 15% increase in overall ROI and faster inventory turnover on slow-moving SKUs. This kind of result doesn't just describe the business, it guides it. Here, we see how different kinds of analysts operate. Operations analysts may highlight logistical bottlenecks. Marketing analysts tune campaign spend. Business analysts link tactics to financial metrics. But the insight analyst goes one step further, synthesizing all layers to answer. What action delivers strategic value? Under which constraints? And with what confidence level? That's what insight is, an actionable recommendation, backed by evidence, aligned with strategy. We also explored variance thresholds and built-in margin of error bands, allowing for risk-aware interpretation. Not all insights need to be precise, but they must be directional and justifiable. To close, let's reflect on what this journey tells us. Dashboards can be beautiful, interactive, data-rich, but if they don't guide action, they've failed their real purpose. A powerful dashboard is not a mirror of data, it's a lens, helping business leaders see what matters. Simon's intelligence design choice model teaches us that every stage of decision-making requires structure. And dashboards that align with that structure become much more than static reports. They become engines of business thought. We must stop seeing dashboards as final products. They are starting points. They create alignment between questions and answers, between uncertainty and direction. And above all, they should reduce friction, not just in understanding data, but in trusting the decisions that follow from it. Thanks for watching. For additional resources, dataset links, and full code references, check the video description below.